Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. The Warriors play very well and win the first game of the playoffs, but they lose Stephen Curry to injury. Curry is the Warriors' starting point guard and we can only hope that he returns as soon as possible, despite the signs of a thigh strain, which takes more than 10 days to heal and could cause the player to miss the playoff games. Warriors lose Stephen Curry, still beat Timberwolves in Game 1. Minnesota trailed by as many as 23 points but pulled within single digits in the fourth quarter. Buddy Hield scored 24 points as the Golden State Warriors held on for a 99-88 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 1 of their Western Conference semifinals series on Tuesday night in Minneapolis, despite losing star Stephen Curry to injury. Jimmy Butler notched a double-double with 20 points and 11 rebounds for the 7th-seeded Warriors, who won for the second time in 3 nights after eliminating the Houston Rockets in a 7-game, first-round series. Draymond Green finished with 18 points and 8 rebounds. Anthony Edwards missed his first 10 shots from the field but finished with 23 points and 14 rebounds for Minnesota, which appeared rusty after a 5-day break between games. Naz Reid scored 19 points off the bench and Julius Randle finished with 18 points. Curry left in the second quarter because of a left hamstring strain and did not return. Curry scored 13 points in 13 minutes on 5-4-9 shooting overall and 3-4-6 shooting from three-point range before his injury. Curry appeared to sustain the injury after driving for a layup. He favored his left leg after the shot and lifted his arm to signal to the bench that something felt wrong. Minnesota trailed by as many as 23 points but pulled within single digits in the fourth quarter. A 13-2 run by the Timberwolves cut their deficit to 85-76 with 6:02 remaining. On the next possession, Hield drilled one of his 5 three-pointers from the left quarter to increase the Warriors' lead back to 12 points. Butler followed with a driving jump shot to put Golden State on top 90-76 with 5:19 remaining and the Warriors maintained a comfortable lead the rest of the way. Golden State held a commanding 80-60 advantage at the end of the third quarter. Hield had 2 points at halftime but erupted for 16 in the third quarter. He made a three-pointer as part of a 10-0 run that gave Golden State a 76-53 lead with 2:23 remaining in the quarter. Golden State led 44-31 at the half as Minnesota scored only 11 points in the second quarter. Jimmy Butler reacts to Steph Curry's hamstring injury after Warriors-Wolves. The Golden State Warriors went into Tuesday's Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves after just 1 day of rest, and their quick turnaround from a thrilling Game 7 win over the Houston Rockets did not have too much of an impact on them. The Warriors picked up a huge win over the Timberwolves on Tuesday night to take a commanding 1-0 series lead, led by Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Buddy Hield in Steph Curry's absence. Curry left Tuesday's game in the second quarter with a hamstring injury, finishing his night with 13 points through 13 minutes of action. Of course, when Curry left Game 1, many fans were worried about how the Warriors would perform in his absence, but the team stepped up in a huge way. After the win, Jimmy Butler talked about Curry's importance and how it felt with him out of the game. Big time. Big time for the guys, Butler said. We want Steph back, I'll tell you that. It's hard playing without that man. Steph is our best player, and the game is much easier when we got him. Butler finished the game with 20 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals to help lead the Warriors to a win in Curry's absence, but the team will be in trouble if he has to miss more time. Golden State made the right call by holding him out of Tuesday's Game 1, but with Game 2 on Thursday, they will need him back on the court. Warriors make NBA playoff history in Game 1 of Timberwolves series. The Warriors became a part of NBA playoff history books after beating the Timberwolves on the road. The Warriors took a commanding 23-point lead versus the Timberwolves in the third quarter and almost sailed to victory. The Warriors won the game 99-88 after the Wolves cut the difference to 9 points midway through the fourth quarter. But Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler dropped some clutch shots to avoid letting the Timberwolves rally back into the game. With this victory, this is the first time in NBA playoff history that the away teams have won all 4 Game 1s in the conference semifinals. Yesterday, the Knicks beat the Celtics at the TD Garden in Boston, and the Nuggets beat the Thunder at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma. Today, the Pacers beat the Cavaliers at the Rocket Arena in Cleveland, and now the Warriors beat the Timberwolves at the Target Center in Minneapolis. What makes this win even more remarkable for the Warriors is that they did it with Stephen Curry sidelined for most of the game with a hamstring injury. Underscore 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 underscore. What does this mean for the Warriors? A historic playoff night was likely overshadowed for the team as Stephen Curry exited the game early in the second quarter with a left hamstring strain. He was ruled out for the remainder of the game. The silver lining for the Warriors with this injury is that they have shown the Timberwolves that they don't need Curry to beat them at their own home. Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield led the Warriors in the clutch moments and finished the game with 20 and 24 points, respectively. So, while the locker room atmosphere may still be tense for the Warriors as they await further examination into their superstar's injury, they have something positive to uplift their morale. Curry exited the game with only 13 points. However, Draymond Green stepped up in his absence and scored 18 points in the first 3 quarters, knocking down 4 3-point shots in 7 attempts. He finished the game with the same points after failing to score in the fourth quarter. In comparison, Green only averaged 8.0 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists in the 7 games of the first-round series versus the Rockets. Therefore, he clearly stepped up his offensive production in Curry's absence. This is not the first time that Draymond Green has stepped up offensively in an important game for the Warriors. His most iconic moment of stepping up in his career came during the 2015-16 NBA Finals, where he averaged 16.5 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 6.3 assists in 6 games played. He would have likely won the Finals MVP that season if not for a LeBron James and Kyrie Irving masterclass. Steph Curry left Warriors Game 1 matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the second quarter with a left hamstring injury. The Warriors showed little signs of fatigue 48 hours after their Game 7 win in the first round of the NBA playoffs, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 99-88 Tuesday night at the Target Center in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. But the win can't be as celebrated as usual. Steph Curry, in the second quarter, grabbed at the back of his left leg and was ruled out for the remainder of the game with a strained hamstring. The Warriors once led by 23 points before holding off the Timberwolves in the end. Draymond Green's offensive revival again proved to be huge. The defensive star scored 18 points to go with 8 rebounds, 6 assists and 2 steals. He scored 40 total points in the first 6 games of the first round and now has totaled 34 in the Warriors' last 2 games. Buddy Hield missed all 7 of his shots in the first half, scoring 2 points at the free throw line. His activity turned to scoring production in the third quarter, putting up 16 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Hield ended with 24 points and 5 threes to become the first player in NBA history to total 14 threes in a 2-game playoff span. Just as the Warriors were finding their flow, Curry was forced to limp to the locker room in the second quarter. On back-to-back possessions, Curry hit a rainbow of a 3 from the left wing that floated high into the air and through the nets, grabbed Dante DiVincenzo's missed 3 and went coast to coast for a floater. But almost immediately, it became clear something was wrong. Curry began grabbing at his left hamstring and motioned to the Warriors bench that he needed to be taken out. He wasn't noticed at first and play resumed. Somehow, Curry still managed to make an impact by finding Green for a 3. The Timberwolves then called a timeout and Curry slowly limped across the court and right down the tunnel back to the Warriors' locker room with Director of Sports Medicine and Performance Rick Celebrini. It looked like Curry could have been in for a huge night, too. He was a +10, having already scored 13 points in 13 minutes. He was 5 of 9 from the field and made 3 of his 6 3-point attempts prior to his injury. He scored 8 of the Warriors' 18 points in the first quarter, and 5 of their first 12 in the second quarter. The Warriors led 30-20 when Curry exited the game. He was ruled out with a left hamstring strain later in the second quarter. The Butler returns. Butler's time in Minnesota was short but memorable, mostly because of drama forcing his way out of town 10 games into his second season with the Timberwolves. He was an All-Star and was named second-team All-Defensive and third-team All-NBA in his first year for the Timberwolves. By the sound of the crowd, there is absolutely no love remaining for him in the Twin Cities. Butler played his first game at the Target Center since November of 2021. He last played for the Timberwolves on November 9, 2019, before being traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Butler received loud boos whenever he touched the ball. Unsurprisingly, that didn't deter him one bit. Butler didn't go on a scoring tear but was flying all over the court. In the first half, when he only had 6 points, Butler came down with 5 offensive rebounds and added 2 steals. The Warriors will need him to be a scorer in Curry's absence, but the rest of his game shone bright. Dominant from downtown. Despite missing 17 consecutive threes and going 7 of 37 as a team, the Timberwolves were able to beat the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 5 of the first round to advance to the conference semifinals. Their victory was largely because of Rudy Gobert's 27 points and 24 rebounds. Gobert wasn't nearly as effective in Game 1 against the Warriors to open Round 2, and the Timberwolves kept missing from long distance. Minnesota took 8 threes in the first quarter and didn't make a single one. Another 7 tries and another 7 misses in the second quarter brought the Timberwolves to a wild 0 of 15 on three-pointers in the first half. Meanwhile, as the Warriors led 44-31 at halftime, they were 9 of 20 on threes, a 27-point advantage. Curry was responsible for 3 of those trays, but other Warriors were cashing in as well. Most notably, Curry's longest teammate. Butler made 1 3 in the first half, as did Brandon Podziemski. Green, however, had already made 4. The Timberwolves missed their first try behind the three-point line in the third quarter, and Naz Reid finally snapped the streak on their 17th attempt of the night. Going back to the Timberwolves' previous game, Edwards missed 14 consecutive threes before making one with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Lakers legends' concerning statement on Steph Curry's new injury. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal got honest about Steph Curry's injury in the Golden State Warriors vs Minnesota Timberwolves Game 1. In a win-or-go-home Game 7 matchup against the Houston Rockets, superstar point guard Steph Curry led the Golden State Warriors to a season-defining victory, but might have paid the price. In Sunday's win, Curry dropped 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, but played 46 minutes to get there. Curry nearly played the entire game, and then had to turn around to face the Minnesota Timberwolves for Game 1 of the second round after just 1 day of rest. Unfortunately for the Warriors, their quick turnaround certainly got to them. Just a few minutes into the second quarter, Curry started hobbling with an apparent hamstring injury. Warriors star Stephen Curry heads to the locker room in Game 1. He asked for a sub and briefly grabbed at his left hamstring. Curry was ultimately ruled out for the remainder of Tuesday's Game 1, which was very unfortunate news, especially with how he was playing. Through 13 minutes of action, Curry dropped 13 points on 5-9 shooting from the field and 3-6 from beyond the arc. At halftime of Tuesday's game, Los Angeles Lakers legend and Hall of Fame center Shaquille O'Neal got brutally honest about Curry's condition. Older. Maybe he's starting to break down, O'Neal said about Curry. He moves a lot for a 37-year-old. This could be crucial. If I'm Golden State, I definitely want to get this game for him, rest him for Game 2. Maybe, Steph Curry, is starting to break down. He moves a lot for a 37-year-old. Shaq after Curry's hamstring injury in the first half of Game 2. The Warriors have performed well on Tuesday night, even after Curry left, but they certainly need him healthy for the rest of this series. The Warriors made the right decision to sideline Curry for the rest of Game 1. And his supporting cast is doing him well by getting the job done without him.